Okay, we're getting close to the end here. The next thing that we need to talk about are loops. Loops. Specifically, for loops. Now, loops in JavaScript allow us to run a block of code multiple times. Loops allow us to run a block of code multiple times. Further, they allow us to change that block of code a little bit each time we run it. Okay, so consider an example. If we wanted to console.log all the numbers between 0 and 10, we would need to write console.log console.log 0, console.log 1, console.log 2, console.log 3, console.log 4, etc., etc., etc. And that will actually log those numbers to the console like we want. However, we need a cleaner way to do this with less code without having to write 11 different lines of code to do the same function, essentially. And that's where a for loop comes in. The syntax for a for loop is we write the keyword for, followed by parentheses, and inside these parentheses, there are 3 arguments. The very first one is where we set a baseline value for what is going to be our iterator. We usually call our iterator I. So variable I equals 0. We're going to start it at 0. Second argument is going to be the terminating condition. So this is going to be a statement which evaluates to true or false. And as long as this statement evaluates true, our loop will continue to run. Once it evaluates false, the loop will stop. It will halt. And so what we do with this is we set a condition that is going to return true as many times as we want the loop to run. So for example, I is less than or equal to 10. So as long as I is less than or equal to 10, the loop will run. Currently I is 0. Okay, so this will return true, the loop will run, but then we have our third argument. And what this statement does is this determines how we change our iterator every time we complete a loop. Every time the loop runs once, we change our iterator a little bit. And the most common way to do that is I equals I plus 1. Okay? So every time our loop completes, we add 1 to I. First time the loop runs, I is 0. 0 is less than or equal to 10, that's true. We finish the loop, we add 1 to I now equals 1. Is 1 less than or equal to 10? Yes, that's true. We run the loop. Then I is 2. 2 is less than or equal to 10? True. 3 is less than or equal to 10? True. All the way until I equals 10. 10 is less than or equal to 10? Still true. We run the loop. We add 1 to I. 11 is less than or equal to 10, returns false, and the loop breaks. So let's see what this looks like. After all these arguments, we have our curly braces, and inside those curly braces, we have the code which we want to run through each loop. Console.log. And what do I want to console.log? I want to console.log the numbers between 0 and 10. So I'm going to console.log the value of I, our iterator. Let me get rid of these. And look at that. We get 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We get all the way through. And we do not see 11 because 11 is not less than or equal to 10. Okay? We do this quite a bit. We write for loops in which we actually use the value of the value of our iterator in our code. So let's take a look at another example. Let's say we have my string equals, and it's my full name, okay, Evan Winston. Well, I'm going to console.log. If I console.log my string, we should see Evan Winston 11 times. And that's exactly what we see. The Chrome developer console just kind of stacks the same identical console logs on top of each other and gives you this number here. This means that it logged it 11 times, Evan Winston. Nothing changed. But if I wanted to log each letter, each character inside Evan Winston, so first the E, then the V, then the A, I would do that by accessing the characters at their given indexes or indices. Well, I can't put a 0 here, or we're just going to see E 11 times. But what I can do is insert I here, our iterator. So the first time, I has a value of 0. The next time, I has a value of 1. That'll return the V. Then I has a value of 2, the A. I has a value of 3, the N, etc., etc., etc. Let's see how that works. Okay, and that gives us one character from my name, except for the last one. Why doesn't it give us the last one? The reason why the last character is cut off is because that last character is at the 11th index. And remember, when I equals 11, the loop stops. Okay, so we need to account for that. What we could do is change this terminating condition to 11. I is less than or equal to 11, and then we get every letter, and that's great. Everyone's happy. But this is only going to work if the string we're dealing with is this exact number of characters. We want to code a little bit smarter. So rather than using I is less than or equal to 11, let's change this to I is less than my string dot length. Okay, so we're using the length property of this string as its terminating condition. So even if this variable, even if the value of this variable changes at some point in the future, or if we don't know the value of this variable, maybe this is a prompt and my string is whatever a user types in, we still want to be able to log every letter in that string, but we cannot hard code the terminal condition. So we use a strategy like this. Let's see how that works. Well, it still works. We're still getting every letter in my name. And what if I add my middle initial? Do we still get every character? We do. Evan S. Winston. Okay, and now let's change this to a prompt. Prompt, what is your full name? Reload. I'm going to type in Kingsley Papa Giorgio, hit enter, and we get every letter of Kingsley Papa Giorgio. We even get this spot where the P was repeated twice in a row. We see the developer console stack it like that. But we get every letter of the string even though we don't know how many characters it is or how many characters it's going to be. So we use the length of the string as the terminal condition, and we log every character by logging my string at the I index. So every time we run through the loop, I has a different value. It's increasing by 1 each time. So what we're really seeing is this, and then this, and then this, all the way down to this, and however many characters it is. Let's say it's only 11 characters. We get, well, this would actually be 12 characters, the 11th index. Because remember, the 0th index is the first character. And that's why we changed it from less than or equal to less than. Okay, if we change this back to less than or equal to myString.length, remember, the length of Evan was 4, but the indexes were 0, 1, 2, 3. So what's at the 4th index of Evan? Undefined. Nothing. There is no letter there. So if we change this I is less than or equal to myString.length, we should expect to see, oh, hang on, I gotta comment this out. We should expect to see an undefined at the end of our list of characters. Okay, so this is a for loop in a nutshell. Let's try something taking a step back. How would we log every number between 0 and 100? Well, let me try I is less than 100, and I'm just going to console.log I. Ooh, let me get rid of that prompt too. Well, we get 0 all the way to 99. Okay, so if we want to include 100, we need to change this to less than or equal to, or we could do console.log I plus 1, and then we would get 1 through 100, which works, right? Okay. What if we wanted to do the same thing, but only log the even numbers? This is one of those situations where you need to be creative. And to do this, we're going to write an if statement inside our for loop. If, let's do I plus 1, mod 2. Let's simplify this a little bit. I mod 2 equals 0. Then we console.log I. And I'll explain this. This percentage sign is called mod or modulo, and what it does is it returns the remainder of an expression. So for example, 5 mod 2 gives us 1. 4 mod 2 gives us 0. 6 mod 2 gives us 0. 101 mod 2 gives us 1. This modulo, it only returns the remainder of division. So 101, 2 goes into 101 50 times with a remainder of 1. So we can use this to determine if a number is even. If a number is divisible by 2, has a remainder of 0, then it is even. And this is a pretty common test that you'll see. So the way we're set up now with our code is we're only going to console.log I if this statement returns true. And this statement will only return true if I mod 2 equals 0. So when I is 1, this is going to be false. When I is 3, this is going to be false. When I is 6, this is going to be true. When I is 50, this is going to be true, etc., etc. Let's see how that works. And there we go. We get all the even numbers between 0 and 100. We could do this with I mod 5. Get all the numbers evenly divisible by 5. I mod 20. All the numbers which are evenly divisible by 20, etc., etc. And we did this by including an if statement in our for loop.